Good morning, good morning, good morning. I finally got the interview I've been searching for, y'all. First off, I want to say thank you, Starlite, for taking this interview with Save Detroit TV. And I'm so proud of you for stepping out, being an entrepreneur and chasing your dream to start your own business.
Thank you.
So, a lot of people thank people when they're gone or whatever. I just want to thank you for taking this interview. It's a surprise interview for Sunday, you guys. We be having a busy week. Our shift's kind of different. So I'm going to open it up and say, like I said, thank you, Starlite, for taking this interview. And for the viewers, tell a little bit about yourself, starting with the high school you went to, the college you went to, the degrees you hold, and the businesses you hold.
So first and foremost, thank you. Yes, this is a surprise because I was not expecting him to ask me to do this. I've been kind of behind the scenes, but it's such a privilege. So thank you for allowing me to introduce myself to the world and introduce what I do. So again, my name is Starlite. I'm John's wife, and my background is interior design. So I went to school for interior architecture. I went to DSA, which is the Performing Art High School, and that's where I kind of discovered like a hidden talent of mine of having, art as a hidden talent. And so yeah, I had discovered a hidden talent of, being an artist, something that I didn't know I had. And so I practiced that in high school for like 2 years, my last 2 years of high school. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with that, although I knew that I enjoyed it. And thankfully, my art teacher, Mrs. Gail Glenn, is the person who actually introduced me to architecture. So that's how I ended up going to college for architecture. I was accepted at Michigan State University as well as Lawrence Tech University. And at the time, I just didn't, I didn't have like that background of, people before me going to college. So I didn't know a lot about going to college and stuff like that. So I knew that I wanted to try to pursue architecture. And thankfully I went to Lawrence Tech University because it gave me a lot of different experiences. I'm not sure what type of experience I would have received from Michigan State University, although I knew at that time it was more like a party school. And part of the reason why I went to Lawrence Tech was because Michigan State University at the time, I think they only offered interior design, which I thought I wanted to pursue architecture and not interior design. And so that's what made me go to Lawrence Tech. And I studied architecture for a couple of years, and then I eventually switched over to, I had a class for interior design. And that's what made me discover, oh, this is what I wanted to do, because I loved all the pretty colors and the fabrics and materials. So, that's what made me go and switched over my major to interior architecture. So I practiced that for 4 years. So I was in college for like 6 years. And I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Interior Architecture.
That's what's up. I always wanted to ask this question, Starlite. Back in the days when we was in high school, the top high schools was Cass, Renaissance, I want to say King.
Yep.
Those were like the
top 3.
The mecca of high schools in Detroit. So, Starlite, my question to you is, what made you decide to go to DSA?
So it was actually not something that I discovered. So I went primarily to Catholic schools. So my middle school I had gone to was Transfiguration Academy. I met a couple of girlfriends there. We bonded, and one of my girlfriends, her name is Alima Addles, and her mother was actually the one who discovered DSA. DSA was just opening up. It was like the very first year when we started, 1992. And Alima was she practiced dance, like while we was in middle school. And her mom wanted her to, pursue that a little bit more. So she found DSA, and then the 3 of us, her mom talked to my mom and my other girlfriend's mom, and they all decided to transition us over to DSA. So we started a little late, but we did start the very first year of DSA. So that's how I ended up at DSA. I first started off practicing dance because
Okay.
I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I enjoyed dancing, but I didn't have like any history or background or anything like that in it. And the good thing about DSA is that it allowed me to explore what those talents were. And like I said, that's when I discovered I had that hidden talent of art, and I didn't know because I never really picked up a pen until like probably like that year, 1992. I actually remember my mom's friend actually purchased like these little Sharpie markers for me or whatever. And I was looking at the comics, and as opposed to tracing like, you know, a lot of people would do, I just looked at it and I did it freehanded, and I was able to mimic exactly the comic.
Wow.
And that's when I discovered that I could, you know, draw. And so therefore we had a few exploratory like classes where it allowed us to like practice in like all of the arts. And I ended up really liking art. So
that's what's up. That's what's up. Now, I'm going to just throw this in there, y'all. She is the one who designed Save Detroit, this logo here. Second question, for the viewers, what inspired you? What was that spark to know that you was going into the business of what you're going into?
So
what actually started the wheel and you wanted to be an architect or interior designer?
So again, it was, you know, my high school teacher who actually told me about architecture, because at that time I knew nothing at all about architecture. Like, you know, I'm not saying I had a horrible background because I didn't have a horrible, you know, upbringing or anything like that. Okay. It was just I didn't know certain things or whatever. Certain things weren't, you know, revealed to me until, you know, I actually experienced them. And so I knew nothing about architecture. Like I knew a little bit about architecture, but I knew nothing about like in-depth details about architecture until my my art teacher told me about it. And so I knew I wanted to do something with art. However, I didn't want to be like that starving artist, like most people say. And I wanted to do something that, of course, I wanted to make sure I was making some income. I wanted it to be a passion. I wanted to have fun with it. And so that's what kind of, you know, made me again pursue it. But once I started doing it, like once I started going into you know, going to school for it, I think the biggest inspiration that came for me was my mom. You know, she was the one who actually pushed me. I knew that I wanted to go to college. That was like a no-brainer. What I wanted to do, it wasn't like really clear until it was kind of, you know, introduced to me. But, you know, my mom, she grew up as, you know, a single parent. She had lost her husband. And, you know, she was just raising me and my brother. She worked very hard. And I didn't really have any other examples, like I said, that went to college or anything like that. I had the example of seeing, you know, like my granddad and my mom, you know, pursue like entrepreneurship because, you know, they both practice in the cosmetology industry or whatever. And so I never had that exposure in advance of, you know, like going to college and just seeing, you know, what a true like business was or whatever, like owning your own business. But I really, in my heart, because I was like one of those kids that I was probably a bad kid, but I didn't want my mom to know I was a bad kid. And so I tried not to give her too much, you know, trouble or anything like that. But she was definitely the one that really pushed me because, again, of all of her experiences that she went through and what she was doing for me and my brother. And I just didn't want to be, you know, that bad kid that give her trouble. And I wanted to, you know, really make her proud of me. So, you know, I wanted to, you know, do what I could on my end to fulfill that, you know, not be that bad kid and make her proud of me. So she was really my inspiration.
Okay. That's
my biggest inspiration.
All right. Next question. What kind of projects have you worked on? And can you give us examples of the projects you worked on or who you worked with or whatever the case may be? Sure.
So I haven't really talked about, you know, the businesses part. I just talked about like my interior design experience. But my businesses, so right now I do have like a 9-to-5. I practice architectural lighting design, which is in the industry of architecture. I've been in the industry for 19 years, going over 19 years now, practicing interior design as well as architectural lighting design. And my businesses, I have one business right now with my business partner. Her and I actually went to college together, Raquel Thomas. and our company is called Interior Property Selections. And then I have a separate business on my own, which is something I've always had. I've always had it registered. It wasn't until like maybe like last year before last, that I really started working on it and like rebranding it and trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. So that one is called Starlite Williams Design Studio. Our my business with my business partner, Raquel Thomas, Interior Property Selections, we started it last year, probably year before last. But because of the whole pandemic, it kind of put things on hold for us. So we're still working on that, and we're getting back into the groove as, you know, we kind of transition out of this whole pandemic, hopefully. So we're working on that, and I'm trying to remember what was your question.
Yeah, you went up. No, it was just saying some of the projects you worked on.
So some of the projects I worked on. So again, I've been in the industry for over 19 years. As far as like interior design, I used to work for a company years ago, and I worked on like mostly hospitality projects when it relates to interior design, hospitality projects, and like some residential projects. So hospitality is more like, you know, like hotels and casinos and things of that nature. So some of you guys, because, you know, a lot of the viewers may mostly be from Detroit. So they may be familiar with MGM Detroit. So if you ever went to the food court, it's called the Breeze, that's my design from interior design. I also worked on a portion of the hotels, and then the video poker. So I worked on that. A lot of other projects that you may not be familiar with on the interior design side has been mostly like residential. I've done like a lot of condo work, mostly like single home residential work. As it relates to like lighting design, a lot of you may be familiar with MGM. We do a lot of hospitality work, and you probably experienced it. So if you ever been in MGM Tap, that's all my work as it relates to lighting. Lighting for Moneyline, that's the new betting place at MGM. I've done that. Let me see some other local work that you guys may be familiar with. I can't think of any other more local work, but again, it's like mostly all of like hospitality. I do a lot of casino work, like a lot of venues, restaurants, things of that nature. I've done it basically all throughout, you know, United States. So, and then as it relates to my businesses, again, because me and my girlfriend were just really starting off, and because the pandemic kind of put us on hold, we haven't had a ton of work. However, we are getting our feet wet in a lot of different things. So we worked on a residential project. So Interior Property Selections, just so you guys are aware of the differences. So that particular business with me and my girlfriend, although we do offer interior design services, that's not our main service. We have designed and built like mostly affordable packages for developers. So for small residential, small commercial properties. So what we do, we basically select all of the finishes in a particular space, whether it's residential or if it's commercial. We don't do a lot of interior design. However, that is a service that we can offer. With the Starlite Williams Design Studio, I'm offering full interior design services for residential and small services or small commercial. But then I'm also putting a little twist to it that I'm working on, and I'm hoping that it'll be more developed in like, I'll say second quarter of this year. So stay tuned for that.
Good job. All right. I know in this kind of business, Starlite, how do you market yourself and to get business for, business? How do you, start marketing yourself?
Yeah. So interior design, I mean, it is strictly a hustle job. You definitely have to hustle to get the work. I mean, it's definitely who you know. We make sure that, when we're working on a particular project, that we give our all, so that we can have those customers or clients to come back to us. But other ways that we basically market ourselves is, a lot of networking. We all kind of like talk within this industry. So we talk to each other. When I say talk to each other, I'm talking about like other interior designers, other architects. So, it's basically who you know. And making sure that you have that recurring, client that comes back.
Okay. So it's a hard business to get into, actually, to market yourself in like cities like Detroit, California, New York, stuff like that.
Yep. It can be hard, but then it can also be, it could be easy, and it's very worthwhile. Again, it depends on who you know, and what type of clientele you have built up, and how your clients actually trust you for that recurring work.
Okay, Starlite, let me see, big or small, what companies would you want to work with, or love to work for, or work with, to show off your expertise in interior design and architect?
I mean, there's a ton of like interior design companies, they offer both architecture, interior design, but honestly, I'm really at the level that I just really want to pursue our own businesses. Eventually I would prefer not to be working a 9 to 5 and doing, the interior design on the side. I'm looking to do interior design as my 9 to 5 or my primary job, and that's working for myself. I mean, there's a lot of great companies out here, whether small or big, and I've experienced either not working with them, but, working for them or on projects with other companies. So, I mean, there's a lot of great companies out here, but I think just where I'm at, where I stand, I prefer to eventually start pursuing more heavily my own business.
Okay, good. Okay, in this business that you're in, you and your girlfriend with her business and the other business that you have.
Okay.
Let me see, how can I say this? What make you stand out from other companies that the same business you guys doing? What makes Starlite Williams stand out?
So I don't like to try to stand out more than others, because there's always food for all of us to eat. Like I said, we piggyback off each other. We have friends that, who are architects. They'll throw, work to us if they're not able to do it. We throw work to them if we know we're not able to do it. So there's always, room for all of us to grow, to eat, So I don't particularly like to say I stand out. I think what would make me, what I could say about myself and about our company is, me particularly, I have a passion, I have an eye for interior design. Okay. Whatever your budget is, whatever type of project it is, I've worked on a lot. I worked on residential, I worked on educational, I worked on hospitality. I have that experience under my belt. And like I tell a lot of people about interior design, because a lot of people, there's a misconception about interior design. Everybody think that it's like this glorious thing, and you're just always up and making all this money, this, that, and forth. And it's really not like that. It's we get to work on a lot of fun, exciting projects. And I've worked on a lot of like multi-million projects, multi-million-dollar projects, and it's not as glorious as everybody think it can be. It can be pretty stressful. It can be pretty tough. You have those clients that are really tough, that get on you and things like that or whatever. But, I just know that for me, and I tell everybody else, you have to love what you do. And that's not just with interior design. That's with anything you do, because if you don't have a passion for it, if you don't love what you do, if you don't like what you do, you're not going to give that 1,000%. You're going to give that 2%. You're going to give that 50%, but you're never going to give that 100 to 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so it has to be something that you truly, truly love. And for me, and I know as well as like with Raquel, it's a passion. I mean, we've stayed up many of nights, working, parents thinking we're dead because they're like, where's my child? They haven't come home from school. I mean, it's definitely something that you have to love. You have to have a passion for it. And for me, I just have a passion for it. I love it. I love all design, anything related to design. I love it. Fashion design, interior design,
Save Detroit design,
graphic design, like anything related to design. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely for me a passion, and I definitely try to give my all. I give my all.
That's what's up. So that will separate you. Next question. Okay, in this kind of business, right, and what you've been through in life, what were some of the obstacles you encountered trying to build your own company and starting your own company? What are some of the obstacles you had to go through?
Well, there's always obstacles in anything that we do, right? Anything that we pursue. For us, the obstacle, because when we first got out of college, it wasn't just me and Raquel. It was actually 4 of us that was together.
Okay.
And I actually would like to go back, because I would say that all 4 of them, like all 3 of them, actually gave me extra inspiration as well.
Okay.
Because when I first went to college, I went from DSA, and I say this, I'm not, trying to, kind of talk about black or white, but it is what it is, right?
Okay.
When I left DSA, I was at a predominantly black school. When I went to Lawrence Tech University, I went to a predominantly all-white school. I was the only female. I was the only black female pursuing architecture at that time. Once I got into maybe like my second year, third year, that's when I met with my girlfriends, Raquel, Sophie, and Cherie. And that's who gave me like the big push and inspiration to kind of keep going as well outside of my mom, because literally when I left DSA, I was like a 3.8, 3.9 grade point average. When I went to Lawrence Tech, my grade point average dropped down to like a 1.2.
Wow.
And it was because I was really discouraged. I was really intimidated, actually. I was really intimidated because I was in a classroom full of all men, Caucasian, and I actually had experienced for the first time racism. I had never experienced it before until I went to Lawrence Tech. And I would say like some of those things have even trickled down into the business side.
Wow.
As I pursued like architectural lighting design, I started experiencing some of those same things that I experienced when I was in college. I'm again around predominantly all white, Caucasian, older men. I'm a younger black female in this industry. And
right.
There isn't a lot of, of me, you know what I'm saying, that's in this industry. And so that was like one big obstacle is, trying to, be heard and be seen and not be looked at, as this young black woman in this industry. And, even with our business, just knowing that, we are who we are, we know what we know. You get some people who don't think you have the experience,
so
because they look
at a lot of doubters.
Yeah. They don't think you have the experience. They don't think you really know what you know. And like I said, I've been in the industry for over 19 years, and a lot of people don't know that. And just because we're just starting out our company doesn't mean that we don't have the experience, because we definitely have all of the experience, my girlfriend, Raquel, she's been working for a number of companies, project managing, construction manager. She's also been interior design. So she's, went to school for her master's and things of that nature. So we have it underneath our belt. It's just, some of those things are just, I think the biggest obstacle is people aren't aware of what we can do and what we're capable of.
That's what's up. I never knew that part though. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, since you got an eye for interior design and architect, if a company wanted you to teach a class or will that be hard? In the interior design way, could you teach classes? Could you teach the youth for what you're doing? Or
so it's funny that you asked that, because that's something that I have actually wanted to do. And that's something that's on like our bucket list for, interior property selections, to actually do some of, once we're able to get back into the world outside of the pandemic. And, I definitely have that passion to want to help other, youth and younger, younger women who's pursuing or would like to pursue interior design. And it's funny because I actually used to do small mentorship when I was working at my older interior design company.
Okay.
So I used to do that. And then there was a few students who were at Lawrence Tech, and they reached out to me years later, and I kind of helped mentor them a little bit. So it's something definitely that's on my bucket list, my list of things to do as an interior designer, is to give back in any kind of way possible. So yeah, we're looking to do something like that. It's something that we can do. Of course, I definitely, would be prepared for it when the opportunity comes. So
it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my bucket list. I always ask this question to all my interviewers. Okay, Starlite, the age you at now, I know women don't like telling their age. What would you tell your 18 or 21 Starlite Williams on becoming an entrepreneur or trying to open a business or just even trying to find their way? How could you talk to the young ladies that's out here now to just trying to find their way? What advice would you give them if you was in the crowd and you were speaking to yourself?
So the 43-year-old of me right now.
Oh, so the age.
Will
Okay.
tell the 18 or 21-year-old.
21, yep.
So at that time I was in college. And like I mentioned just a minute ago, there was a lot of intimidation that I experienced, a lot of doubt that I experienced with myself. And I would definitely tell the younger me to be me. Don't be afraid to be me. There's no one like you. There's no one like anybody else out here. Everybody is who they are. God has prepared us to be who we are. You don't have to be like anyone else. You're there to learn. You're always here to learn. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. I don't care what age you are at. There's always room for more things to learn, other things to grow in. And don't look at yourself as being different in a negative way. We are all different. We are all made as we are made because of how God has made us. But that doesn't mean that you're this, bad person, or you're this dumb person, or you're this, non-worthy person. You know what I'm saying? You're who God has designed you to be, and you could be whatever you want to be. And it was so funny because at that time at my age, I really felt like I could do anything. If I put my mind to something, and I still feel this way, if I put my mind to anything, I feel like I could do anything. Anything. I could do anything. If I wanted to be a nurse, I could be a nurse. If I could be a doctor, I could be a doctor. If I put my mind to it. If I put the love and passion into it, right? And so never lose that passion. Never lose that passion. Never allow anybody to knock you down because of something that you feel like you don't know. Because the same way they knew it and learned it, you can too. So there's nothing on this earth that you can't learn or you can't know if you put your mind to it.
That's right. And I want to capitalize on that, since it's my show and it's Save Detroit TV. The reason why I'm proud of her, because at the time she was going to DSA, one of her professors told her she wasn't going to make it. She wasn't going to be who she...
In college.
Well, in college, yeah.
In college.
I mean, not Lawrence Tech. Lawrence Tech. Lawrence Tech told her that she wasn't going to make it, and she surpassed that, and she's doing what she's doing now. Yeah, so I kind of respect the path that you took, and you took on that challenge or whatever.
Yeah, that was one of the experiences. When I say I experienced the racism, that was part of it. It was from two professors I actually sat with, and the first time it happened, it was an older white man, and he told me that I wasn't gonna make it. A lot of Black people drop out and they never make it through, they never make it to graduate.
Oh, wow.
And that put like a real damper spirit on me. And I can remember I was in the basement because my mom's basement was set up for a salon, and then she transitioned and moved into, our own salon. And I was in the basement because I had set it up for like my architectural studio. And I'll never forget, she I don't know, she came down there for whatever reason, and she heard me crying, and I was crying because I was like, I wanted to give up. Like, I wanted to stop. I didn't want to go to school. I thought I wanted to go to school, but I didn't want to go to school because of that teacher. The teacher kept putting doubt in me. And I felt so discouraged at that time. And my mom pushed me. She said, you can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. And I don't want you to stop. I think you can do it. I know you can do it. And that's what kept me going. And although, you know, that first year was really, really rough, baby, when I met my girlfriends, Raquel, Sophie, and Cherie, it was on and popping.
There you go.
They pushed me. And to this day, you know, I don't try to take any slack from anybody.
It made you have thick skin. Huh?
Exactly.
That's good. That's good. So let me ask you this though, Starlite. To the youth or the kids, is this an industry that you will push on the youth coming up? Because, you know, a lot of youth want to be lawyers, doctors, you know, some of those, you know, those avenues there.
Yeah.
Even when I found out what you was doing, I was kind of shocked and kind of surprised. Like, wow, you know, I never heard of what you're doing, you know, especially in art. I don't want to make it a race thing, but especially in our race, you know, I never really heard a black interior design, you know, architect or whatever the case may be. So is this an area you will push on kids? Not push on them, but open the door. So this would be like a new thing they would want to be coming up.
I would definitely, I would never push anything on
not
anybody.
Push it. I'm just saying, you know, would you introduce this to youth to step into?
If you have a creative mind, if you love design, if you love, you know, working for the community, if you love, you know, giving back to the environments and to the community and creating safer spaces, healthier spaces, I definitely would say this is something that you may want to pursue. It is not an easy industry like everybody may think. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of late nights. It's a lot of dedication.
That's with everything, though.
You know, exactly. But, you know, how it's sometimes portrayed is as if, you know, this lady is just kind of like walking out. She's just shopping and, you know, you don't really see the behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the amount of clients that you have to deal with and consultants that you have to deal with, you know, it isn't just the client. You have to work with a ton of other team members outside of your company. It's a lot of detail that you have to be involved in. And so if they're, you know, interested in something like this, you know, and interested in doing anything related to architecture, absolutely, I would definitely encourage them to, you know, pursue it. But just know you have to have a passion for it. As with anything that you do, have a passion for it, because it can be, it isn't, like I said, it isn't as glorious as everybody may portray it to be.
It's real challenging.
It could be challenging. It could be mentally challenging. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of things you have to think about, a lot of little details. I mean, you don't want to skip out on one little detail, because that one little detail, it trickles into the next thing. You know, something down the line, after buildings have been built, you know, you forget that one little screw and
you mess everything
up. I mean, the whole left side of that whole building is falling down. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, definitely, if it's something that they enjoy doing as far as like design, if you have an eye for art or anything like that, and you don't know exactly what you want to do, it's definitely a rewarding business. It's not as scary as I'm saying. It's you know, it's not as challenging most of the time. Like I said, you have to have the passion for it, and a lot of things wouldn't be challenging if you have the passion. But so yeah,
that's what's up. Okay, for the viewers, for, you know, everybody out there, tell us your name again. Tell them your business name, and how can they get in contact with you if they have business, as far as getting in contact with you. All
right, so Interior Property Selections is my main company right now with my business partner, Raquel Thomas. You can reach us by, the easiest way is email, or just go on our website, and we have all our contact information there. So it's www.interiorpropertyselections.com. And then our email is intpropselections.com. at gmail.com. And then with Starlite Williams Design Studio as well, you can go and visit my website. There is www.swdsllc.com. And then my email for that is info.swdsllc S.A.V.E.LLC.com at gmail.com.
Okay. That's what's up. Well, this was a surprise this morning. I kind of like springed it on her this morning. So this is Sunday morning because, our work schedule's kind of messed up. So I can't catch it through the week. But like I said, Starlite Williams, I thank you for taking this interview.
Thank you.
I wish I could have went more in depth in schools because what we're going through right now and the kids deciding on what school they're going to and why would you, say DSA? Because I know it's a new DSA now, right?
Yeah. Well, it's still DSA is right now is the Fine and Performing Arts School. It's not, Detroit for the School of Fine and Performing Arts. It's in a newer building.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's a newer building.
When we went to school, it was in the old Wilbur Wright building, which is now torn down. So again, it was when she was just starting the school. So we were like the first graduates. So we couldn't really have all the fancy stuff that they have now. But it's a great school. I was actually just talking to one of your friends' wives, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago. Her daughter was trying to get into there. So, I mean, if you're looking for, pursuing performing arts, and, whether it's art, singing, dance, instrumental, drama, they are a great school to actually pursue. One of the top, I think it's still like kind of one of the top schools, like kind of up there with Cass, Is it
still a Renaissance? I ain't heard of Renaissance in a while.
Oh, I don't know about Renaissance, but yeah.
It's up there with Cass.
But yeah, I mean, we're up there. And I mean, it's a pretty good school. They offer a lot of different nice programs. I mean, I haven't been there in a while. We did our 20-year reunion and, I was able to get back in there and see the newer school and all of that stuff. So all of the stuff that they have in comparison to what we grew up on is way better. The technology is way more advanced.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I can imagine 20 years, 20-something years now?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Ms. Williams, for taking this interview with Save Detroit TV.
You're
and
welcome.
Once again, each interview I do, y'all, this is episode 7. Check out my YouTube channel. It's Save Detroit with the periods. Click on there, subscribe, and like the videos. This is episode 7 with Miss Starlite Williams. And your company is called what again, Ms. Williams?
Interior Property Selections and Starlite Williams Design Studio.
Thank you. All right. Appreciate you. Give a sound. All right.